Okay, guys, welcome to another vintage video. Today we're playing some Dredge. Another Dredge League, because there's another big event at the weekend. There's some sort of qualifier in the vintage format. Last week I played the Munchlack list with all the permission and spent a number of rounds just getting bodied before I could win one. So this week I've changed it slightly to have some bridges in. Someone, Kisu, a player online, went and got second place in one of the challenges over the week. With a list like this, I've made a few changes from theirs. They only had 3 revivals. They only had 3 revivals in addition for a third therapy. I want 4 revivals. And then post board they only had Sickening Shoals and they had additional strips and a chalice. And I've dropped that for the 4 Sickening Shoals basically. I want to kill priests and I want to have Bizarre Baghdad. That's what I want. Nice stock dredge list. We've got 5 permission spells plus a misstep. 4 griefs, 2 therapies, 13 dredges, and some hollow ones and a grief. So bridges to push the damage and go a bit wider. But yeah, let's go run it through a league, see how we do, see what we think of this build during big qualifier season. Okie dokie, round 1 then. We're up against Grum, and we've got Powder Hand to start with, into a mulligan to 6. And then another Powder Hand. Okay, so at some point we will probably find a Bizarre. What do we want to keep here? Is there anything specific? 2 Icarids have gone, so I want to keep threats. Dredges don't matter. Oh, I lost it. Sure, I'll just keep a Forcible in my deck. I don't know. And then we'll go to 5. What's this then? Keep 5, so 2 go back. So what, we bottom Chill and Force of Will. So I'm going to grief them. But I'm going to activate first, see if I can find a bridge from below and other things to pitch. No, I'm just going to... What are they doing? There's no Lurus. They're mulligan to 6. So what we can do is we can discard Stinkweed, Amalgam, Powder. I don't know if I like that though. Stinkweed, Amalgam, Powder, and then Dredge back slowly onto our second grief next turn. Or we could just go Stinkweed, Amalgam, Stinkweed, and just go as nuts as possible. I actually think I like the double interaction idea. So our first one gets Force of Willed here, it's a bit annoying. And having turn 2 interaction is great. And if we see their hand and think, oh, you can't do anything, then it doesn't matter. We'll take your 1 ring, I guess. Take your payoff. Opponent now has nothing. They will have the ability to copy a prized amalgam at some point in the future. That doesn't look like the best hand in the world. I guess they're only a mox away from the 1 ring, right? So workshop. Do I want to go again, or do I want to just dredge my brains out as fast as possible? What have you got? You've got Force of Will, Metamorph, Otawara, Workshop, +1. Nah, I don't need a grief. Let's just not cast any spells. Stinkweed Imp. Stinkweed Imp. Completely miss. A Narc would be a cool find off this final stink. Stinkweed Imp. No Narcs. Okay, so it's back to the opponent. We're on 25 cards and we found 0 threats. There's not actually even an Icarid in there. This could be problematic for us. Opponent just drew a jewel because, you know, why wouldn't you? Oh, 1 ring. Okay. That's really problematic. I can't therapy them. We'll dredge. How many cards have I got? 25. How to play. So no Icarids. We'll dredge 3. We found a bridge from below. It's probably too slow for this matchup. We'll let them take some damage. We're not activating Bazaar this turn against the dual opponent who's got protection from creeping chills. So we're going to leave that there. I can deck myself next turn. It's just whether that's powerful enough to do anything is a very big question. I don't know why my graveyard's down there. Let's get it out so that you can see it too. So we've got a mana crypt off the opponent. And a manifold key. I don't know why I'm getting spammed so hard by Magic Online at the moment. And they untap the ring. And then they draw 3 more. They've got 3 mana, 6 mana. Maybe I did want that other grief and I was just wrong. Oh, there was an Icarid in there. I just couldn't read. So I do have an Icarid for next turn. But I kind of want to find a Narcomoeba in their turn. If I get a turn. You know. They find Khan the Great Creator, which can find some hate piece, and then I'll just be dead. How many cards have I got? 22. Yeah, okay, sure. So it turns out I did want to grief them again, but once we'd griefed them, we knew that they didn't have anything. So we're going to dredge here to try and find some Narcomoebas. Dredge 5. Dredge 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 griefs have gone. I don't play any green spells in my main deck. Sure. So I don't think the discards here actually matter. We chill you and we get 3 guys into play. We won't get our amalgams in, which is a shame. There's 11 cards in our deck, and that makes up 3 of our remaining chills. Is that right? 1, 2 of our remaining chills. Okay. So we can pressure the Khan if we want to, or we can just pressure life points, which I think is what's better here. I'm not sure. I can't cast my therapies anymore. And they get the 1 ring back. So I guess we kill Khan then. Kill Khan and take a draw step. Bunch of creatures don't come into play. I've had this a lot recently, this experience with Dredge, where you get your opponent to a point where you're like, oh, you just can't do anything, and then they play a vintage card off the top of their deck and you lose. It's I'm just going to take a draw step because I don't really achieve much from not. That was a cool one though. So let's kill Khan. And then I can draw 2. Discard 3. Cast a hollow one. No, they might just force this actually, because we know they've got force blue card in the hand. Well, they let it go. They've got no fear. And I guess we're at one of those points where we have to really consider the fact that Ancestral Recall could kill us at some point. We know our 1 from bottom card of the deck is... So 7 cards away from us is a Creeping Chill. We've been through 2 Creeping Chills so far, so there's 1 in between us and 7 cards down as well. But this might all not matter because our dual opponent did dual shops things fairly uncontested. So they're digging again with the ring. They're up to 10 cards in hand. But we regretfully have power and toughness in play and access to 6 burn points. So we're not allowed to concede. We just have to sit here and watch them do it. Which is certainly a place to be, an experience, you know, all that stuff. Urza's Saga. Seems hard that they'd miss from here, doesn't it? Metamorph. Metamorphs the ring. Their ring dies. So this turn I will just take a draw step And then I have got a like Dredge 6 in me if I need it. Alright, I still know they're holding force blue cards, so I don't see the point in redeveloping this hollow one. I don't want to draw. I don't want to dredge, sorry. There's no point in attacking whilst they're under the ring. There's a good chance we just lose this. Well, a very good chance that we lose this. Like, I might just actually be dead. But opponent comes off ring protection for a moment, so they get hit by a ring, they get hit by a crypt. Do they get hit by a crypt? Yeah. So they need to re-up the one ring this turn. Which means we can just respond to their one ring. By chilling them twice. Then if they ancestral us, we die. And if they get rid of their mana crypt, we die. They got 13 cards in hand and haven't seen a PO from our opponent yet. So I don't feel like chilling them is great. I imagine it's going to take a bunch of turns very soon. So PO for a lot. And then they'll redeploy everything, and I'll catch you up. Okay, so our opponent's end step, they made a token with Saga, and they metamorphed it twice. And then they took a Time Walk as well, did some stuff. Sorry, I just stopped commentating. I'm not feeling 100% today, and there's nothing interesting or compelling about a Dual Shops player drawing cards. So, their Time Walk turn, they've got 22 cards left in deck, 8 cards in hand. They discarded a bunch of crap on end step. They've got a Voltaic Key. And now I guess they're just going to sink all my guys and then attack. I'm not sure what they're going for. Tinker for Time Vault. Okay, that'll do it. That will probably do it. So get Time Vault. And we'll go to the next game. That's fine. Okay, we lost. That was annoying. I could have griefed. I probably could have griefed that one ring unless it was like top decked that turn. I don't know. I think what I did was okay at least. So I want the Vigors. I probably want a Wasteland. And then I can drop a Therapy, and a Revival. Oh god, that's loads of cards. I don't want a Wasteland. So 2 Therapies can go. A Thug can go. And then one other card. But I want to keep my threats. A lot of my threats are enabled by Therapy. So I'll drop another Thug and then one of the Revivals I said a moment ago. Like, I'm not getting wasted. I'm just bringing in the 4 Vigors. Cutting a couple of Dredges. Keeping a bit of the slow interaction. And hoping not to get peeled on quite so hard. Game 2, we're on the play. We powder this, losing 2 forces on the way through. We mulligan. And we keep 2 Bazaars and a Grief. So I'll put the chill on the very bottom of the deck. We'll activate, hoping to find another redundant black card. And then we'll hit them with a Grief. And then we'll hit them with double Bazaar. Opponent's mulligan to 5, so hopefully that's no Force of Will and a good amount of nonsense in their hand, like something we can, a hate piece we can take that stymies what they want to do. So Grief you, Wormcoil, One Ring Jet. So they've got a turn 1 One Ring, a turn 2 Wormcoil Engine. I think I've got to take the ring. And then assume I can go round a Wormcoil in the near future with 2 Bazaars. So Workshop. One Wing's gone. Jet. Vexing Bauble. Sure. Vexing Bauble's fine. Next turn they've got a Wormcoil Engine. We're going to dredge upkeep with our 2 Stinkweed Imps. Hit him with a Chill. Stinkweed again. 2 Narcs and that's, yeah, 2 Narcs. Okay. So yes to everything. Draw step, dredge a... Does it matter? No. Draw step, dredge a Grave Troll then. Chill you. Golgari Grave Troll. Bizarre Baghdad, 2 Stinkweed Imps. Stinkweed Imp, Stinkweed Imp. And then we'll get an amount of amalgams into play. 1 now, 1 later. We missed on... we missed completely on Therapies. I think I kept 1 in though, but I'm not sure. So in comes the Wormcoil Engine. In comes the Prized Amalgam. 2 Icarids are going to go off, so we're going to do a bit more dredging. I've got 19 cards in my deck, so Grave Troll, Stinkweed Imp, hit him with a Chill, and then probably call it a day on the other Bazaar because I've only got 8 cards left in my deck. But I will eat a grief and eat a grief. The bottom card of my deck is in fact a Dredger. But if I attack now, they block the Prized Amalgam. That neuters the 2 Icarids. They take 5, and they fall to 4, which isn't good enough. I've been through 3 chills, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we can go draw step, and we can just pick up a shell. Down to 5 cards. That leaves us with an optional dredge 5 next turn. We'll attack with the squads because our squad grows and gets bigger by 3 zombies if they block. They die if they don't block. Prized Amalgam dies. You're at 4. I get some zombies. And then therapy you with my Prized Amalgam. I've got 12 zombies. I've got 5 cards in my deck, and if you tap your Ancient Tomb before you attack with your Wormcoil Engine, I can just kill you with the bottom card of my deck. Because we'll draw 1 and then dredge 4 off of a Thug. I don't have a Thug. Problematic. Is that true? I don't have a Thug at all in here? Okay, well, fuck me. There's no Thug there. Right, Icarid dies, I get some zombies. I still feel like I'm okay. My board looks like it can handle a Wormcoil Engine with an opponent at 4. We know they've got 1 mystery card in hand. And then in they come for 6. I guess I just chump here, right? There's any reason to even do that. Yeah, let's just give you a zombie. Here you go. You're at 10. The 1 ring. Okay. This player's good at drawing rings. Now on Urza's Saga. I take a draw step. I will eat some food, I think. Grief. Grief. That'll do. The other two can stay at home. Cancel that, draw a card. That's a Force of Vigor, which I can't cast. The Ichorids die. The bridges make some tokens. And then it's back to them. They've got 2 cards in hand. They can make a construct, but that doesn't really block very well. And they can draw 2 with the ring, so they go up to 4 cards in hand. And this is part of what's cool about the bridges. If you ignore the 1 ring stuff that's going on at the moment, when your opponent sideboards into a big life-linking creature like Wormcoil Engine, or even a Traxer, if you can get out the gates fast enough, you do have realistic outs of going around it. Obviously, that's not happening here. They're going to ring up again. They still have a Vexing Bauble in play. I'll double block with Amalgams here. Oh, that kills my bridge, doesn't it? Okay. I'll single block with an Amalgam then. Every time they gain 6, I make 6 power. They get a construct. And then they get a Grafdigger's Cage or something like that. Oh no, it's just back to me. Okay. So I do need to eat one so I get my Ichorid back. My Amalgam back even. And then we'll just take a draw step. One of our Wastelands is great, but they're all in our sideboard at the moment. No thank you. Another Bazaar. I probably don't need that. And then we get our Amalgam back. Our Ichorid dies, we get a Zombie. Opponent's got 3 cards in hand. They're going to resolve a Saga, which would just mean Tinker probably wins from here. And then I'm dead to Ancestral as well. And I'm also at the point where I can't beat a Coveted Jewel. So that's cool. They didn't make a construct, they just wanted the mana. They got a Voltaic Key. Then they untap the ring. And they drew 3 off the ring. They've got 9 cards. There's a Manifold Key to dig a little deeper with the ring. Grim Monolith. And Tinker for Time Vault. Can my opponent beat my board state? They can Manifold Key the Wormcoil Engine, can't they? Now that they've got 2 keys. And Khan comes in. Can't get to Mastercore. Well, that was an annoying game. Anyway, on to the next one. Both of those games, we had our opponent, on the ropes, and they just top decked the 1 ring. So that's going to happen to you. Like game 1, maybe I should grief again. I gave them 2 draw steps. Game 2, we obviously didn't have the luxury to grief twice. But we did have 2 Bazaars. We put everything forwards, and then they got there on the ring. So, cool. And I will see you for round 2. Okie dokie, nerds. Round 2, we're on the draw up against Wessel, who's a bit of a bug gamer usually. So we'll keep this hand in what's likely to be a slightly unfavourable matchup. I don't think... Well, they play 2 decks. They can play bug, or they can play like savannah creatures, Thalias and noble higher-ups and this sort of nonsense. Lotus isn't what we want to see. They obviously can play other decks, but this sort of opening typically means it's bug, although that means it's not. Is it just another dual gamer? No, white. 5 mana. Oh, Stonecold Serpent, sure. So it's like a Golos Shops deck, which is interesting. Let's play Bazaar. Activate the Bazaar. We get Force of Will, Cabal Therapy. So I want to discard Icarid, Stinkweed Imp, and the Powder, I guess. Well, why the Powder? I wanted to discard the Therapy. That's so bad. Never mind. I just lost my mind for a moment. So let's look at what you've got. You've got nothing. There's no Wasteland in that hand, which is a nice saving grace. Saga ticks up. The Prison Shops list will usually have like a main deck Paducah Bog or a main deck Cage or Spellbomb. It's probably just gonna be a Cage if you're holding Null Rod. And they just top deck a Ghost Quarter just like that. Tough day at the office, if I'm honest. Oh, they're giving me the activation on the Bazaar of Baghdad. Don't complain, just take it. Just don't question their thought process. I get 2 bridges to come along with my Icarid. I get to hold Force of Will for another day. Grief happens. 1, 2, 3. So I can't really attack with this Icarid because they'll block with a token. I get some life points back. I can't Therapy naming Ancient Tomb, can I? I can Therapy myself naming Stinkweed Imp. But I don't think I want to. Oh, hang on. Eat. Food. No, I'm fine for next turn. But I could just get the... If I attack, they make a token, they block, my bridges die. So I don't do that, and I do just just Therapy my Stinkweed for an additional black card in the graveyard, I guess. Holding up Force of Will. We will reveal the Force of Will, but that doesn't matter. I get 2 bridge tokens, that's what's important. And if they've got main deck Cage, we probably die. So we need to hope they draw their main deck Cage for the turn. And go runner. Because then we get to force it. It was a very strange keep though, right? Like, turn 1 Stone Coil into someone who hasn't revealed a Lurus. And Westland I've played a million times. Like, they should know I'm playing Bazaar sort of thing. Like, that should be the top of their range. For me, as someone who does not have range. But yeah. I presume this is just going to get a Cage and we're just going to be dead. Yeah, because they've got Null Rods in their deck. They're proper prison. Oh, Vexing Bauble, sure. But now you don't have Ghost Quarter once again, because you've given me another Bazaar activation. And now I can throw my Icarids at them freely. How many chills do I have? There's 1 in exile. So I've got 3 chills, so I can just take 10 and be pleased about it. I'm going to see 15 cards on my turn, and that's so many Icarids. So Stinkweed Imp. Discard Amalgam because you've put a Vexing Bauble into play because I showed you I have a Force of Will. So yes to Creeping Chill, yes to Narcomoeba. Amalgams have some triggers. grief happens. And then the shambling shells, I guess. I'll keep one around so just in case we need to get a bit exactsies later. Draw step, Stinkweed Impu. Say yes to Narcomoebas. And then just slay. Like, all your creatures are too big, all my creatures are too thick. Attack you. I'm at 21. How many chills was that? I didn't really count. Just one chill. So there's 2 chills remaining. A bunch of our creatures die. Yeah. I get 9 zombies. You'll go. Oh, and a couple of amalgams as well for good measure. Opponents at 10. Based on how this league's been going, I expect them to play a land and then play a Golos and get a Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. Oh no, they didn't. Well, based on how this league is going after 2 games is what I just said. So Magic Online's gone nuts. It now just every single time you'll just have your cards on absolutely maximum, which is quite annoying. Right, I want some Vigors and I want some Strip Mines. What else do I have on my sideboard? Just Sickening Shoals. I don't think I need Sickening Shoal against these guys. I'm going to drop the Therapies because they're going to sphere me. So I probably can't cast that anyway. I want the permission for sure on the draw. And I need to cut 5 cards from here. So we can probably get rid of a Thug. Misstep is actually quite good post-board because they're going to have Cages and Needles. So whilst traditionally you would cut your missteps against a lot of them, against a lot of shop decks, for Dredge we kind of don't want to. I expect them to have Worm Coils, so I'm kind of interested in these bridges. I might actually just bring a Thug back and get rid of the Griefs. Have the blue cards and the green cards. I think that's fine. Less discard, more stack interaction. That was really wild, because if they're adamant on getting lands from their constructs from their saga, they should play the Ancient Tomb, give me the activation, and then play the Ghost Quarter the turn before. Activate the Ghost Quarter the turn before. But I think they thought of Ghost Quartering me, and then decided they wanted their saga tokens, and then that kind of cost them because that actually gave me 2 more fully like activations of Bazaar, which just kills you. You can't do that. So this is a hand with no dredgers, but it does have a Strip Mine, so we keep it. I'm actually keeping it because of the Bazaar. It's a bit early. I feel a bit groggy. I'll say some nonsense things. Here's a Sapphire from our opponent, and an Emerald. And I will say, these 2 matchups that we've had so far are the ones where the Munchlax list, the max permission list, does very, very well. So what happens if I force this? I think it's fine to force, isn't it? I think I'm kind of locked into having to. They're going to go like Workshop into Brain You somehow, but if I don't force that, I'm not forcing anything. Pithing Needle, okay. There was no way for us to do that happily. So we'll pass to them. They chose Bazaar. We will draw a Bazaar naturally. We'll strip them to see if we can slow them down. And if we can't, then we'll lose quickly. They've got 2 cards in hand after that. But yeah, Sphere into Needle on the play. Going to be an issue. And Nestle Sister's not really, like, it's going to kill us, but that's not the main issue, if you know what I mean. I don't want to have my turn anymore. Holding the Bazaars against their Wasteland. It also means we can get to 7 sooner if they don't do anything scary. Crucible of Worlds for Workshop. I think that's fine. play the workshop, and then they tap it a couple of times. They play a cage, so we'll force the cage, but that probably means we're dead to this Nettle Cyst at this point. We need to draw green card into green card, and we've got one fake draw. So that's our fake, like that's the draw we can miss on. It now needs to be Vigor into green. And they need to miss on all of these draw steps, and they haven't. Okay. It's just a Stone Coil. Yeah. So we die. And this time we'll be on the play. We'll reduce the size of our massive cards, and we'll look at how we can get some griefs into our deck. I can drop a Thug. I could just drop 3 bridges. But I don't think I like that. Do I want Strip Mines and Wastelands? I think I want at least 1 or 2. I've made space for 2 griefs so far. I can drop a bridge for sure and get a grief. Do I want to drop an Ichrid or a Chill? Not really. So I'll just go to exactly Strip Mine and have a grief. Have a playset of griefs, which is like as interactive as I can be. I've got 4 revivals to pretend to be strips. And we'll keep this. We're down 2 chills. We've got 1 poor Dredger. If they've got ley lines as well, then good on them. Okay, opponent has a Leyline of the Void. What good fun. Oh, they've mulliganed to 3 for it though. So they've only got 2 cards left, so we could just find a Vigor and the game will end. Let's discard these 3 cards and cast a Hollow one, which also might end the game. And if they play a Tabernacle, that's annoying. They play a Workshop and nothing else. So we get to develop a Strip Mine. I'm going to activate 4 Vigors. Don't find one. So we'll just discard the Dredgers, play the Strip. Now we're just on 5 attacks with the Hollow one into your nothingness. And then if we draw a Hollow one on the way through, that's cool. If we draw a Vigor on the way through, that's cool. But I want to keep Force of Will. I want to keep green card. So I'm out of activations for now is what I mean. Sphere of Resistance. I think that's fine. Because I've got Strip Mine in play. Play an Academy. Which reduces 1 mana, but I can still Force of Will your play. Force of Negation is another good one. Opponent falls to 12. And this is the pure strength of Hollow one, right? It's just the fact that they mulligan to no resources, and I was able to produce something that didn't use the graveyard. This is why we play it. This is what makes it great. I'm going to attack again and take another draw step. And this Strip Mine is not hitting anything that's not a Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale at the moment. Sphere of Resistance. That one I should probably fight. That keeps the Academy bad, and it allows me to draw into Future Permission. That's a cool one as well. So we'll attack for 4. And then we'll pass the opponent. And then we'll kill their 2 things. They've got 2 cards in hand. Their Academy doesn't produce mana. Like it's mana neutral on the Sphere, isn't it? Because they lose a mana, but they also don't have to pay a mana. This does mean they can play an Emerald. It's 5 mana Golos, so I just kind of let them in. Yeah. Okay. What do you get with Golos then? What can they get? Just a Saga? Saga or Tabernacle? I've now got access to my graveyard at the very least. Maybe that was awful. I could just end step it, couldn't I? And not open this door for them. So this one is completely on me. I get the Saga. Okay. They've got one card in hand. I am just going to flip my cards over here. Try and find a Dredger. Cool. And then we untap. And then we can upkeep a Stinkweed Imp. And a Golgari Thug. We hit one Creeping Chill there. Opponent falls to 1. And then we draw. We dredge a Stinkweed Imp. And they die to a Creeping Chill. Okay. So I did open a window of opportunity for them to get there, but was able to quickly close it. I didn't think about the fact that, like, yeah, Mox turns on the Academy lets you play Golos. So I actually sent them from an effective 3 mana to potential 5, whereas if there's the Sphere in play, they can't do any of that crap. Anyway, we won. Okie dokie nerds, round 3, we're up against Chazami. We get to start on 6, on 5. Powder this. Keep a chill, keep an imp, I guess. Seems good. And 2 Bazaars and a Grief. Okie dokie. We are on the draw. I don't know the opponent, but they haven't revealed a Lurus. That's an Eye of Ugin. So turn 1 Thought Not Seer. Potential. Eye of Ugin. Thought Not Seer, yeah. Okay then, that's interesting. It's a bit annoying because does it screw up my... No, it doesn't screw up my Grief cards, does it? I get a 3rd Bazaar. Okay. What would I be discarding if I activated? Well, I have to activate. This might not be griefing. Yeah, I won't be griefing. So we'll discard the Dredger, the Cabal Therapy, and the Grief. We'll cast a hollow one into them, and then we'll wait and watch, because if they attack, then we get to... if they attack, then we get to Dredge 3, which could be cool. They've got 5 cards in hand. I don't know what Eldrazi aggro does in this format. I don't know what this card does. I don't know what this card does. Colorless spells you cast with converted mana 7 or greater cost 1 less to cast. And it's a Lord for Eldrazi's. Will I snap off the block? Oh no, hang on, that was awful, because I didn't draw a card from my hollow one dying. We'll dredge a Shambling Shell. We'll miss on dredges. We'll activate Bazaar. We'll discard Force of Will and some other stuff. How much is this? This is so much damage. What's going on? This is 12? And they've got 2 cards still? A Cavern of Souls? Oof. This hand brought to you by Mana Crypt. Good lord. And Eye of Ugin. Right, so I'm at 8. And I can't activate here, and I've only got a Dredge 3. So let's cross our fingers. No Dredger there, but that is a Narc, which is cool. Because that's going to stem the bleeding somewhat. That's 2 Amalgams. It means I'm no longer dead on board. Let's play Bazaar and activate it. Another Bridge from below. And then I can activate Bazaar again. I've still only got this Shambling Shell. And I've still only got this Shambling Shell. Okay, so... yeah, so if I Therapy you... maybe, if it lets me... Right, is there something going on that means I can't play Therapy? No, just lag. Then I get to make 2 tokens. And what do you even name? Thought Not Seer doesn't do anything. It's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's got to be 7 mana. What's it called? Deceiver? Deceiver of Destinies? Destiny Deceiver? Decimator of the Provinces? I don't think it's that. Right, to Google. Typeline eldrazi. Sets MH3. Search with these options. Devourer of Destiny. Devourer of Destiny. They've got an ancient tomb. Okay. And I've got some amalgams. I've got some board presents. I'm going to take 3 this turn, but I've got a grave troll and 2 bridges and an Icarid and another amalgam. So we went through a few chills at the beginning, didn't we? No, we didn't. That was a different game. Okay. So yeah, so we should be okay here unless they play like a reality smasher. They didn't. So I take 3, I fall to 5. So wild attack. Isn't it? How much damage you're taking on the way back through? You're taking 12, so you're at 5, you're at 2, 1 chill and you die from that attack. 33 cards in Icarid, and it, yeah, can't imagine this ending well. More stuff. Grave Troll, Stinkweed Imp, 2 chills, and I think that's actually just game. Icarid eats Grief. Dredge a Grave Troll. I've got 5 cards. I chill you again. You're at 8, and I attack you for 12. Good luck. Okay then, so a little bit of a dodgy start, and we got there. Maybe the attack is great because you just have to end the game, and you just need to hope that my dredges are crap, sort of thing. But I don't know, with 2 bazaars in that spot, I'm putting my whole deck upside down. So, what do we want against Eldrazi? What does Eldrazi do? Well, once I've resized my screen, I'm gonna get these Sickening Shoals. Well, actually, I don't think Sickening Shoals is gonna be very good. Like we saw, their creatures don't actually matter. So we'll get something else. We'll drop the forces because they're going to be all caverned up and stuff. I'm happy to cut therapy. I'm happy to cut a bridge. And that way I've got griefs and I've got vigors. Because of their interactive suite, their suite that hits me, right? Their graveyard stuff, that is going to be... Their interactive suite is going to be artifacts and enchantments. I don't think it's going to be Eldrazi spells. And I think I'd rather have the vigors. I'd like a bazaar to start with, though. That would be nice. It would be a cool change. So we'll mulligan this. We keep bazaar, grief, and some other cards. We'll put back a thug and say done. And you've got a Leyline of the Void and a Leyline of the Void. That's a 7-carder as well. That's pretty fucked up. And an Eldrazi Temple. And no other plays. So I will wasteland them to start with. Do I want to grief them in this spot? I guess that's fine. See what their payoff is. Black Lotus and some other cards. What does this do? When you cast this spell, if it was green, kill an enchantment or bounce a creature. That doesn't... Okay. Sowing Micah Spawn does land stuff. You tutor for a land and Kozilek's Command. Okay, cool. Your Black Lotus is gone. And you've got no mana. I'm still confused about this 2/2. What does that do? When you cast this spell, if it was kicked, exile target artifact from enchantment. So it's a 4-mana disenchant, 3-mana disenchant. Dubious. I'm not going to play my Bazaar. They've drawn a Wasteland. Fuck me. Okay, now I've probably got to play my Bazaar. So what does this do? I still can't understand it. So they're a green deck. Right, let's play Bazaar and activate it. And do we just concede? Yeah, I think that's fine. Hate piece, hate piece, hate piece, hate piece. With 1 in the bank. Cool. I'm still confused about the 2/2 for 2. It's an emerald, no, a pearl. So not an emerald, critically. But it does mean they get to make tokens. They didn't wasteland me. I do draw the Vigor. Let's see what they do with their Saga before we get too excited. I don't like that I don't have that Creeping Chill in my hand anymore. Not Creeping Chill, Shambling Shell. So then they make another token, I guess. Oh no, they float a mana, and then they can get an emerald. But you can't kick your spell. You get a Vexing Bauble. Okay, I die. Fine. Fine. That was interesting. Sorry, I'm having to learn cards on the way through. Yeah, I still don't think their creatures actually matter, because when they're in play, they're all vanilla creatures, aren't they? None of them... It's all cast triggers. So we'll keep this, because I get to grease them, develop a hollow one, and kill a leyline. So let's activate the Bazaar first of all, I think. I've got a graveyard this time round, so we'll discard Powder. Powder, 2 Stinkweeds I think is fine, and then pitch the Amalgam. I don't have a green card for this Vigor. But I do have a hollow one, which is basically an Eldrazi. And I wonder what a 7-card keep with... 7... Yeah, let's have a look. What's a 7-card keep with no leyline look like to this player? Just 6 lands, okay. Weird keep. They do have a Wasteland, but I've got 2 Stinkweeds. The first 2 Stinkweeds should be able to find us some... Oh, they didn't play a Wasteland. Does that mean they drew the thing that exiles my Bazaar? Sowing Micah Spawn. I've got 3 cards left, so Ancient Tomb, Wasteland, and nothing, so you just... People are just not out there activating their Wastelands today. It's pretty concerning. Stinkweed Imp. Stinkweed Imp. They could just... Oh, they could have drawn Kozilek's Command. No. Dredge a Grave Troll or Dredge a Shambling Shell? Just Dredge a Shambling Shell. No bridges, so we'll attack for 4. So I'm just get rid of my graveyard for a moment. So they played Jet, Pearl, Lotus, Cradle. They took 4 straight to the dome. And I don't know any spells in their hand. I can't think of anything. Upkeep, let's put your cards into the graveyard and you can enjoy your 2 mana. And this isn't like the world's most insane play, but it does tax their Ancient Tomb Wasteland decision, right? If they're a Tabernacle. Okay. How much do I care about Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale? Well, I can just put my triggers down there. I can eat a Grief, that's for sure. Narc can die. I'll pay for the hollow one, I think, because I've got loads of dredges in my graveyard, so I can just get my damage in whilst their board is empty. Dredge 6, boom. And then attack you. Right, what makes sense for them to have in hand? I don't know. I'm going to name something Mike Spawn. I can't think of anything that actually is relevant. Oh, I got one. Taste it. Oh, that was too funny. Too funny. They could have played that last turn as well. So now they play Wasteland and waste my Bazaar. This kills my Hollow one. But I've got an Icarid. Have you drawn a spell? A needle? Okay, it doesn't matter. Right, don't care about your hand anymore. This is my graveyard. And I'm just going to dredge Stinkweed Imps. Icarid will happen. Eat a Grief. Hollow one is gone and deceased. Stinkweed Imp you. Double Chill would have been nicer, put them out of their misery. They've got one draw step to find like a Grafdigger's Cage, and then at that point I am on 3 chills in 27. And I've got 3 Stinkweed Imps. And opponent concedes. Cool. That was a cool deck though. Sorry I don't know any of the cards. I know it's big in Legacy, but it's really hard to convince me that a green and 3 is playable for this format. I didn't mean to go back to here. Like, that's so expensive, right? 4 mana. I know you've got the discounts, but it costs 3 mana to tinker. So I think it just needs more prison elements. Like, if I was going to do something like this, I would imagine I'd be like a Sphere of Resistance deck rather than a 3 mana 2/2 disenchant your Mox deck sort of thing. And like the Lord at the beginning. Anyway, cool deck, and it's nice to see people try things. I don't mean to dick on the opponent too hard. Okay, cool. So we're up against Tarzan of the Jun, and they've got a Lurus, which is exciting. We've not had one of those yet. And my theory is that we're good against Lurus. So let's go and test that out. It's fun. When I play Dredge, I'm more here to play against Lurus than any other deck I play with. When I'm against the Lurus decks with everything else, I'm like, please don't play Lurus. But here, I think that's where we want to be. So let's test the theory if our matchup is in fact good. I think I'll play the Bazaar and then hit them with the Grief. Pitching, probably just the Shell, right? The Shell doesn't matter game 1. As a green card, if it was post-board, maybe it'd be the Thug. We've got the Nut 2 Dredgers here. And the reason I've played the Bazaar out first is I want to activate in response once my discard has happened. They've got a Wasteland, Daze, Dress Down, Fluster. Lavinia. So which of these is actually annoying? Maybe I want, like, I could activate before. What do we care about? We don't care about Fluster. I don't think I care about Daze. I think I just take Lavinia. Now I can activate. Now I can discard Troll, Imp, Amalgam. If we hit the bridge there, we get a 2/2, is the reason we want the Bazaar in play before we Grief. I could have activated first to have better information on my part. They'll hit me with a Wasteland. I will end step hit them with the Noxious Revival, which means they just need to have drawn exactly Misstep or Force of Will. They can't have Force of Negation. We get the Bazaar back, tasty stuff. Opponent concedes the game. Nice. My cards are really big, so we're going to get them back down to standard Magic the Gathering size. And then we want the Sickening Shoals because they showed us a Lavinia. So their sideboard plan is 4 Priests plus a Spell Bomb of some variety. But I don't think I care about the Spell Bomb too much. I'm going to cut a couple of Thugs. I'm going to cut a Therapy. I'm going to cut a Bridge and just trim off the top slightly. That's 2 cards. It's do I want the Strip Mines? Do they have the Tabernacles? I think they usually do. So I'm going to cut another Therapy. And I'm going to cut another Bridge. That might be bad, that extra Bridge. Maybe it's the Griefs need to go. Rime of Grief. In the past, I've also cut all of my permission as well. Oh, I'm not doing that right now. I'm cold to Needle, other than negations and missteps and forces. But I think it's usually quite a clean 5-card post-board package of Spellbomb, 4 priests. And the Spellbombs we can try and play through. And just like bink the lurus sort of thing. But the Needle, if they've got a Needle, is a problem. Wasteland for tab is questionable at best. They're not very good at finding it. They might not even have it. So this could possibly just have to be, should probably possibly just be Vigors. These two here. So 2 bridges and 2 strips become Vigors if we don't see a Tabernacle this game. I'll keep this. Opponent's mulligan to 6. Hopefully they mulligan to 3. One good thing about bridges against this build of Espelura sort of thing is if they get the priest down in, let's say, turn 3, they play a containment priest. Everything I've got in play, like all of my Narcomoebas that are in play, will trade into zombie tokens. So, opponent's on 5. So the bridges can give you a bit more reach against the priest. But obviously you need to not be tangling with the priest. You need to be tangling with their like big frogs and shit. Okay, they keep on 5. Let's see if they've got turn 1 Needle and I die on the spot. Black Lotus. Gross. Blue, blue, blue. Nihil Spellbomb. Okay. Cycles a Lorien revealed, gets a Tundra, plays a Lavinia, something like that. Underground Sea. Psychic Frog. Cool. Okay, that's a good hand. So, how to play. Let's play Bazaar. Let's activate now. We'll discard Bridge, Amalgam, Narcomoeba. And then we can pitch Amalgam to Grief. This is going to put them to the test on that Spellbomb quite quickly. Because I'm going to get a Bridge trigger. They've got a Wasteland. Okay, and I can beat Wasteland. Do you leave me with the Bridge trigger? That is the question. They leave me with the Bridge trigger. Your frog's dead. I have a 2/2. You get to Wasteland me. And then I get to pick up my Bazaar. I've got an Amalgam in my graveyard that could just be a Stinkweed Imp. So I have fucked up the sequencing a little bit here. But I get to cast a Noxious Revival on my Bazaar. And then you do that, and I get to pick up my Bazaar. And we win the match. Fortunate to have 2 revivals. Fortunate that they went to 5 and didn't have permission. But they did have Spellbomb Wasteland Frog. So this Amalgam in graveyard should just be that Stinkweed Imp that I used to get the Frog gone, but we had a good hand, they had a good hand. Double Noxious beats one piece of hate. So that was cool. See you for the final round. Okay, nerds, final round. We're on the draw up against Grum Grum, who was our dual opponent from round 1. And let's see if we can get some revenge. However, on the draw is tough. Let's see what they come with. Turn 1 Trinosphere. Get absolutely fucked. Nice double hollow one, dude. Okay. Cool story. So now we need to find dredges, because none of our spells work. Dredge, dredge, dredge. And still can't cast this because there's no mana paid. So it's your go. It's your go, and you've already won. They play a 1 ring. We will take our turn, we'll dredge 5, and then we'll pass. We hit more Shambling Shells, which is fine. We'll pass the opponent. We'll let them do some stuff, and then we'll activate at our convenience. They take 1 from the ring. We're all about those chills right now. It's all we kind of care about. It's creeping chills and dumping our graveyard as fast as possible. It's funny how different this game is on play or draw. On the draw, I'm under a Trinosphere and 1 ring. On the play, I have 2 hollow ones and I force of will the Trinosphere. Vexing Bauble. I'm already locked out, my man. I'm already locked out. And then they've got a tap land. Okay, so a bit of a weak one over there. So we'll go to their second main phase and dredge a Shambling Shell. And then we'll dredge a Shambling Shell. Now we'll discard some Stinkweed Imps and Shambling Shells. All the other cards are useless. We bink them for 3. And we untap. And now we can actually go in our turn because they're not under the 1 ring. The reason we passed was because then the chill that we just hit would hit them. If I'd done that in my turn, the chill wouldn't have affected them. So, Stinkweed Imp and Golgari Thug. Oh no, another Stinkweed Imp in our upkeep. Very tasty. 2 more chills and whatever's. 6 cards though, which is concerning. We're going to do all the damage we can do. Icarid will eat this Grief. And then draw step will dredge a Stinkweed Imp. We'll chill them once again. I think is that all my chills? No, it can't be. 3 of them. And then we bink them for 3. Crunch, crunch. They fall to 7. We get some amalgams. We get some zombies. They're dead on board, but they've got a 1 ring on 3. So who knows how far they can go. Let's get rid of our graveyard for a moment whilst we watch them combo off. They draw 3 cards. This Trinosphere seems problematic though, doesn't it, for them? For someone who's trying to cast infinite spells. I mean, Workshop Time Vault Key is still playable. But just they can't deploy their Moxen. I wonder what they had in hand last turn. I wonder why Vexing... Like, it's tough for Vexing Bauble to be the best thing in their hand. Yeah, they concede. We win. Taste it. Alright. Next game. Let's make our cards legible. Surveil our options. I would like the Vigors. I would like to drop a Thug. I'd like to drop a Thug. And Griefs on the draw. Therapy can go, and then one of the Griefs, I think. I don't know what I did last time. I think last time I had Strips and Wastes in, but I don't think I care. Griefs aren't so good on the draw, but they are still good. They're still playable. Maybe my therapy should not be a therapy and it should in fact be a thug, but who knows. Okay, then that's game 2 against Grum Grum, or game 4 against Grum Grum actually. We're going to mulligan. And we're going to powder a lot of sideboard cards away. I think I'd rather have a Force of Will in my deck, though. Okay. Bizarre and a slow one at that. Let's see what they've got. Workshop. Pearl. This is a 7-carder from the opponent into the ring. Okay. Problematic for the grief plan, if I'm honest. Knock Sapphire and pass. Over to us. We can activate our Bazaar of Baghdad. And we can find a Bazaar of Baghdad. So I'm going to discard Icarid, Shambling Shell, and Cabal Therapy. And then I'm going to pass the turn. I'm going to use Creeping Chill as my grief card next turn. Naturally against duel, so the disclaimer being if I get another turn. They activate the ring for 2 more cards. 2 Bazaars though, so that could come in handy. I can upkeep Dredge and keep Revival, Grief, Chill online. They've got another land, so that's 6 mana now. So they can deploy a Worm Coil if they want to. Yep. That's fine. And then if I was to therapy them this turn, what would I want to take out their hand? Metamorph or Worm Coil, really, isn't it? Well, actually, no, I'm going to know. Let's stop speculating and just find out the answers. So, Shambling Shell can dredge. Shambling Shell missed on dredges, but we did hit a grief. So we can just discard this, eat grief with Icarid, trigger Amalgam, draw step, dredge a thug, hit a narc, grief you, take your force or whatever. Right, Metamorph. So we'll take the Force of Will. Yeah. And now we will just dump our deck to see how many Bridge from Belows we can get. Because I've got a Grave Troll here. Grave Troll. Stinkweed Imp. 0 Bridge from Below. Sad times. We did hit a chill. Seeing as there's 0 bridges here, I can just therapy the Metamorphs off my Icarid, because I'm not attacking with the Icarid. And then you discard 2 Metamorphs and you've got a Kappa Cannoneer. But they do have a 1-ring. So, I don't know. I get 2 Amalgams, that's cool. I get 1 Amalgam, that's less cool. Oh, but I get 2 Amalgams on their end step. So they're at 14, so they're going to be at 20. I'm probably not going to block with the Narc. I'm hoping that their turn is literally just play Kappa Cannoneer and pass the turn. So we know they don't have Force of Wills or Metamorphs. We know that their hand is just Grim plus Kappa Cannoneer. And 4 mystery cards because of the ring and their draw step. So here they come for 6. And I think I'm happy just to take 6. That only puts me to 17. Puts them back to 20. Did I drop my bridges? I just haven't found one in 34 cards. No, I kept all of them. I mulliganed one away, so I've got 2 bridges left over. Opponent plays a Soul Ring. And then a Wormcoil Engine. Okay. And then Springs, which they don't zap in. So I don't need... I don't need 3 Bazaars. I've got 2, and that's enough for me, if I'm honest with you. So what can I do? I can go... 26 is so many cards. So if we go like... What? If I go... Noxious Revival on Force of Vigor, paying 2 life, holding priority, and dredging a billion. So I can dredge a Grave Troll, dredge a Stinkweed Imp, discard those 2, chill you. Yes, chill you. And then dredge again. And I can 15 cards in my deck at the moment. So if I just go like Thug Imp, leave a few behind, or do I want to just go to 4 cards in deck? How quickly can I turn around against some Wormcoil Engines? No, I need to do a bit more chill. So I'm going to dredge 7 this time round. So it'll be Shell plus Thug. Chill you again. Icarid's are going to eat Griefs. This was quite a slow plan, actually. So maybe I don't like the Vigor plan. Do I want to draw the Vigor, or I just want to dredge 3? I'm just going to dredge 4, fuck it. The Vigor was bad. I accept it. I'm not going to end up with the Vigor in my hand. What happens if I attack now? Yeah, everything looks great. So we slay, you block 1, you invalidate 2, you take 7. And then my bridges trigger. And then my Icarids die, and then my bridges trigger. And then you go to 4, and then you go to 16. We get our amalgams back. I was thinking about... I don't know why, but my brain was thinking if I pick up the Vigor, then I can Vigor their 2 Wormcoils and reduce their life gain. But that's not how that works. So they activate the ring. They've got 8 cards. We can still just die here quite comfortably. We know they're holding Kappa Cannoneer and Grim Monolith. But if they attack, we'll just chomp with a zombie and chomp with a narc, and then end up with an extra point of power in play. Yeah, they gain 12, which is not great, but... Or maybe I just block with a narc, actually. Take the 6. No, that seems unnecessary. So opponent gains life. I get 2 bridge tokens. I've got 3 Icarids in my graveyard at the moment. And 2 bridge from belows. But they've got 8 cards, which is the big problem. 8 cards is a lot. So I should have just Noxious a Narcomoeba and got another body, because that body was worth 2 bodies. Opponent, maybe not in the tank, but at least thinking, which is good for us. So here comes some mana. It's a Kappa Cannoneer. And then they do have, like, yeah, deploy some cards and PO and then deploy some cards. I think that's what's going to happen to us. And because then they'll get to turn their ring on again. And that will be really bad for us. And then we'll just die to one Kappa hit, I guess. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Cool. Yeah, you win. Next game. I think the build seems fine, right? Okay, those cards are really small. This is a nightmare. I think Grief on the play over what? Noxious? I can't use that properly, so what's the point in having it? That's a joke, kinda. Yeah, cool. Just that swap, I think. Max interaction. Powder away all the world. Mulligan to 6. And now we're going to go slightly too low for my happiness. Gross. Okay. Opponent is on 6. Please join me at 5. Pretty rude, really. I'm going to 4. 3, and then this is just the cost of Bazaar of Baghdad, really. So I'll keep my 3. And I'll just keep 2 dredges. Dink. Dink, dink. Oh my god. I'll keep 1 dredger. Okay, fine. 6 cards for the opponent. We activate the Bazaar, we play a hollow one, we discard a dredger. And an Icarid. Okay. We could have a clock here. This is the joke. And they've got a Force of Will, so they've only got 4 cards left as well. Getting rid of Experimental Synthesizer, which is a card that can actually beat us in combat. 5 cards, what do they have? Ancient Tomb and Pass. Ooh, buddy. What are you keeping? And then we'll eat a Grief. We'll get our damage in while the damage is good. Try to stink with them. 2 Narcs. Damage is damage. This could just be a turn 2 One Ring, which is still going to be great against us, but Ancient Tomb puts you to 12 if you do that. Oh yeah. I've got 4 chills in my deck. Alright. Say yes to Icarids. I might just draw step though. I do not want to dredge a chill. Well, never mind. Alright, opponents go. They're going to take 1, and then if they want to produce mana, they take 1 billion as well. Do we just go for the Hail Mary upkeep? Oh, that's really long. I don't think so. I think we at least let them invest some mana into their day. They draw 2 off the ring. Double Ancient Tomb is tough as shit. You're taking 5, 6, 7. And if you tap your 2 Ancient Tombs, that makes 11. Seems rough. I've not even activated my Bazaar yet. Let's see what they can come up with. They play another Ancient Tomb to cast a Wormcoil Engine and the 2 Narcomoebas and 1 Chillers game. I love these double ancient tomb draws. They're so funny. Like we still might lose, right? Our opponent's got a very powerful deck that can do a lot of powerful things, but just from what we can see, everything looks horrible for our opponent right now. But they've played the matches that we've played really well and found really neat lines. Like there was the in match 1, there was the Ottawa and my One Ring to use it again. They slow rolled that Kappa Cannoneer for a few turns to make sure they got the massive PO value off of it to completely close the game on the spot. So I have found some neat lines. But I think this is the toughest corner we've had them in so far. Okay, opponent concedes the match. That's fair. That's fair. That was a tough spot for them to be in. They had a little ponder and couldn't find their way around. And I'm not going to lie to you, coming into this, I was a little bit down on the Dredge. But that actually kind of went well, even with me not playing great in spots. So we went 4-1, and the defeat we also beat, right? So we beat Jewel and lost to Jewel, and then we beat the other 3 matchups, which were Golos shops, which, I don't expect people to play Golos shops at the moment. Lurus, and I presume another deck. I'm not sure what, I can't remember. Who was it? Oh, Eldrazi. Okay, sure. So yeah, so these actually the 2 colorless decks I wouldn't expect to see in the showcase at the weekend. I don't know if that's an indictment on the deck that we're playing with. But we did beat Lurus and we did beat Jewel and split games against Jewel. So I think that's a fine spot to be. I prefer the bridge builds at the moment. Or Silver Smoke Ball if you want to go that way. I like the Therapies though, so I would be on bridges. I personally very much struggled with that Munchlax list. There's been metagames for it, but I think when the best deck in the format is a slow Dudley control deck, which doesn't have great answers unless they're boarding in ley lines. So the rest of the stuff we can play around and we can plan for, and it's not too bad. I think it's just the so I think we're very good against Lurus if you want to be good against Lurus. And I think the max permission list reduces how good we are against Lurus in exchange for being good against other things like Jewel. So play what you want, have fun. Good luck if you qualify this weekend. I hope to be there on Saturday. So yeah, have a good one and speak to you soon.